Hello everybody and welcome back to my YouTube channel. I really hope you're all doing okay and having a great day and an amazing week. My name is Effie and today we have Makeup and Mythology, the last Makeup and Mythology of 2021, and actually this is probably going to be my last video of the year in general. I've picked a story that I think is quite fitting to where we are as a planet right now. I've chosen the story of Pandora's box from Greek mythology. It is a nice story. I feel like it's a fairly popular one for children. I definitely remember it from my childhood, so if you do, let me know in the comments. Let me know if I got it right as well. I just think this is a nice story to end the year on, and this is the look I have created. I quite like it. I used the BH Cosmetics Summer in St Tropez palette to create this, and on my lips is the Bare Minerals Bare Pro lipstick in the shade Petunia. Everything on my face will be linked in the description box as always. If you like this video, please do give it a big thumbs up, and if you like my content, please consider subscribing. I put out makeup content every week, and every 4 weeks I do a Makeup and Mythology video. If you're just here for Makeup and Mythology, I have a playlist just for you and it will be linked in the description box. It is all the videos I have made so far, so if you would like to watch them, please feel free to. But other than that, I'll let you enjoy the story. Okay, so the story of Pandora's box, like a lot of Greek stories we've looked at, doesn't even start with Pandora. Pandora doesn't come into it till near the end, but for some reason the story's named after her. The story actually starts with two brothers, and they are called Prometheus and Epimetheus. Now, I've heard this story before when I was younger, but I'd kind of forgotten it, and I've heard of Prometheus before, but I'd never really heard of Epimetheus, or at least I couldn't remember ever hearing of him, so it was good to see a new name in the mix, I guess. Now, these two brothers were Titans, and Titans were who ruled the world before the Greek gods. The Greek gods are also known as the Olympians. I've not told the story of how the Olympians took over from the Titans, but I will do at some point, but it's not really that important for this story. It's just important to know that the Greek gods, primarily Zeus and his brothers Hades and Poseidon, had to defeat the Titans in order to stop their rule because they weren't great at ruling over the planet. Prometheus and Epimetheus come into this because Prometheus was born with the gift of the prophecy, and this means he could see into the future. He could see that Zeus was going to defeat the Titans. And because of this, him and his brother Epimetheus pledged their loyalty to Zeus and the Olympians. And now, like I said, Zeus and the other Greek gods did manage to defeat the Titans. They won, and therefore Prometheus and Epimetheus were on the right side. And because of their loyalty, Zeus decided to reward the two brothers. And the reward he gave them was he allowed Prometheus and Epimetheus to create every living being that was going to live on planet Earth. And they kind of decided to divide and conquer the task, and by doing this it meant that Epimetheus was to create all of the animals that were to live on the Earth, and Prometheus was going to create the humans. And Epimetheus was very excited, so he got started straight away. He started creating loads and loads of creatures to live on the Earth, and he gave each of them a unique defense mechanism. So, for example, some animals have sharp teeth, some animals can run fast, some animals have poison, some have spikes, you know, different defense mechanisms. But Prometheus took a rather different approach to creating humans, and he decided to take his time. He very slowly molded the humans and made them look exactly how he wanted them to. He made each of them look slightly different. He created humans as we see them today. The only problem was that he took his time, and this meant that by the time he'd finished creating the humans, Epimetheus, his brother, had already given out all of the methods of defense, and the humans were kind of left with no defenses. And this was a problem because now they were going to be put into a world full of creatures that had poison and sharp claws and teeth and things like that, and they had no way of defending themselves against it. So Prometheus thought of a way around this, and he went and asked Zeus if the humans could have fire. Now, up until this point, fire was pretty much reserved for the gods. It was something you only saw on Mount Olympus, which is where all the gods live. And humans were not allowed to have the fire, and Zeus said no. Zeus said that it was Prometheus's fault that the humans were left with no defences. It wasn't his job to give them fire. Fire was for the gods and the gods only. However, Prometheus didn't really listen. He cared about the humans and he didn't want them to be completely defenseless, so he simply just gave them fire. And obviously this really angered Zeus. He very rarely was disobeyed, and he was kind of annoyed that the humans now had fire. And so Zeus decided that he needed to punish Prometheus for what he had done in disobeying him. And Zeus took his time and thought up a punishment. At this point we know what the Greek gods are like. They like to dole out pretty imaginative punishments. And so Zeus thought up the perfect punishment. So Zeus decided the best punishment would be to tie him to a rock using chains and put him up in the Caucasus Mountains, I hope I'm pronouncing that right, and leave him there. But that wasn't all. So whilst Prometheus was tied up to a rock using chains up in the mountains where nobody could find him, every single day Zeus would send an eagle up to the mountains to eat his liver. And now, because he is an immortal being, I'm pretty sure, his liver would simply just grow back every single day. So he would have to endure this torture on a daily basis. Yeah, I told you, the Greek gods are imaginative. Prometheus had to endure this for as long as Zeus really felt like it. Until one day Zeus decided he had had enough of these, and I don't know if he gave permission for this to happen or if he just kind of allowed it to happen. But another Greek story we have covered, Hercules, went and freed Prometheus. Although, when I was reading up about this, apparently, and I made a mistake in my Hercules story, Hercules was originally referred to as Heracles, spelled H-E-R-A, Cles. And actually the name Hercules is apparently the Roman version of the Greek Heracles. But it's just that over time the name Hercules has just become more popular and has been used more, so that's the one that people tend to know. So I apologise for the mistake I made in my Hercules video. His name was Heracles because we were talking about the Greek version. But anyway, Heracles was able to go up to the Caucasus Mountains and rescue Prometheus and set him free. Like I said, I read one version where it was actually Zeus that sent him up there to do this. But then I read another version where it's just like Heracles went up and freed him. So I'm not really sure what happened there, although I imagine if Zeus really wanted to keep Prometheus up there, he would have done, so I have to at least think he was okay with it. Oh, and also, side note, Heracles killed the eagle. Don't know if that's really important to the story, but he did kill the eagle and set him free. However, it didn't take long for Zeus to decide that he actually wasn't finished with his punishment. He decided that Prometheus needed to be punished a bit more, but he also decided that the humans needed to be punished. And the reason why the humans needed to be punished was because they accepted the gift of fire. And I'm assuming the logic here was that the humans knew that fire was only for the gods, and therefore they shouldn't have accepted it from Prometheus. And for that reason, Zeus sees fit to punish everyone. How nice of him. So again, Zeus sets to work thinking of how best he can punish the humans and Prometheus at the same time. And again, he comes up with quite an imaginative way of doing this. And it involves getting some help from the other gods, which is always good. Zeus decided he was going to create a woman, and she was going to be called Pandora. And in order to create this woman, this is where he needed the help from the other gods. So first of all, Hephaestus, who actually has quite an interesting story, so I might tell his story at some point, he moulded Pandora out of clay, and he took his time and created her in the image of Aphrodite. And Aphrodite was known to be the goddess of love and beauty and femininity and all those good things. So she was seen as the most beautiful person, god, creature ever. So why not make Pandora look just like her, or at least make her in her image? And Aphrodite gave Pandora the gift of femininity, so she made her very feminine, very soft, very girly. Now the name Pandora actually means the one who bears all the gifts, and this comes from the fact that the gods actually gave her loads of gifts when they created her. And Zeus got quite a few of the gods involved and got them all to sort of chip in and make Pandora the perfect woman. So the next goddess involved was Athena. She's one of my favourite goddesses. And she taught crafts to Pandora. So things like sewing, weaving. And in the story I read, Hermes was involved, but Hermes had to be ordered by Zeus to do this. So I don't know why that is. I don't know why Hermes didn't just offer up his services, but apparently not. But Zeus ordered Hermes to teach Pandora to be deceitful, curious, and stubborn. She was also given many other gifts from various gods like health and generosity and kindness, just to make her an all-round appealing person. And this was exactly what Zeus wanted, because his goal for Pandora was to take her down to earth and introduce her to Epimetheus, in the hopes that he would want to take her as his wife. And of course, that's exactly what happened. However, again, Prometheus could still see into the future and therefore had tried to warn his brother not to accept any gifts from Zeus. He probably also knew that Zeus wasn't finished punishing him, and therefore knew that he should probably warn his brother just not to trust Zeus in general. However, Epimetheus didn't listen. Epimetheus really fell in love with Pandora the moment he met her, which is kind of what Zeus wanted, so Zeus got what he wanted. His plan worked. So Epimetheus's mind was made up. He was going to take Pandora as his wife, which is great for Zeus. His plan had worked. But Prometheus was still very, very skeptical. And on their wedding day, Zeus gave a wedding gift to Pandora and Epimetheus. And this gift was a box, although in ancient Greek I think it was more of a jar. But as the story has been passed down, it's turned into a box. And Zeus told Pandora and Epimetheus to never, ever, ever open the box. And this went well for a little while. Pandora managed to stay away from the box. I think Epimetheus probably helped her a fair bit with that, and Prometheus probably kept reminding them to not touch the box. But one day, while Epimetheus wasn't there, Pandora couldn't help herself. She had to go to the box. And she sat by the box. Now, the version I remember when I was a kid was that she could hear the box like calling to her or something like that. But I'm not sure about that. I'm sorry if the lighting's gone weird. The sun is a mess. Pandora just couldn't resist the box any longer, and she opened it. And out of the box flew basically all the things that as humans we worry about. Things like death, disease, war, sadness, poverty, envy, hatred. All these terrible, terrible things had been released into the world. And now, again, the version I read online was slightly different to the one I remember as a kid, but I prefer the one I remember as a kid, so I'm going to tell you that ending. And that version says that Pandora saw all these things fly out and she slammed the box shut. And as she sat there, very upset about what she had done, she knew she had released all these horrors into the world, she could hear one last thing struggling to get out of the box. And Pandora sat there and thought to herself about whether or not she should reopen the box, because at the end of the day, the last time she did that, it didn't turn out too well. But she could hear the last item struggling to get out, so she opened the box. And out flew hope. And this is the idea that even though humanity as a whole has so many terrible, terrible things happen to it, like this greed and envy and poverty and death, humans can still have hope to hold on to. And that is why I picked to tell this story as the last story of 2021, because I think with everything that's gone on in the world over the past 2 years, hope is really all we have left to hold on to. And I personally am hoping that next year is going to be a lot better than this year and a lot better than 2020, and I know that that might not happen, but we can keep hoping, which is nice. I'm going to put on some lashes and a lip and come back and we'll do final thoughts. Okay, there we go, that is the final look. I'm quite liking it, it's bright, it's colourful, typical me. Let's talk about the story. I really like this story. It's one that I was told when I was younger. It's a very comforting story in my opinion. Although it does have the horrible effects of having all these terrible things in the world, it does remind you that there is hope to hold on to, which is quite nice. And like I said, I just think it's quite fitting for the situation the whole world is in right now. We have to just hope that things are going to get better. Unfortunately, that's all we can do. But anyway, if you liked this video, please do give it a big thumbs up, and if you like my content, please consider subscribing. There is loads of newness coming in the new year and I'm so excited to show it to you all. If you are just here for Makeup and Mythology, then I have a playlist just for you. It will be linked in the description box so you can watch all the videos that I've made so far. Makeup and Mythology will be continuing in the new year, so please don't worry, it will still be here. They will come out every 4 weeks. But if you're interested in makeup content in general, then please feel free to hit that subscribe button down below. I put out a video every week and it is always makeup related. But other than that, I hope you have a great day and an amazing week and an amazing end to your year and a great new year if you're able to celebrate it. But other than that, I will see you in the new year. Bye.